Yeah, here we go.
This is 11-year-old Tommy Loredo. We first met him 2 years ago as his family was working through the fundraising process to bring a playground for all to Modesto.
I'm gonna take this.
But in order to bring a playground like this to town, it's going to cost upwards of $2.5 million. As Tommy's team hit a major fundraising milestone thanks to a recent donation from the city of Modesto, reaching their halfway mark with more than $1.2 million, Tommy and his mom Rachel took us back to the most magical place that inspired this goal.
So it was really invigorating for our team to see that milestone be hit. And it just kind of reignited, the passion of why we're doing this.
Rachel came up with this idea after visiting the Magical Bridge Playground all the way out in Palo Alto 4 years ago.
How do we bring something as wonderful as this to our community to share with the families that would benefit from an inclusive playground?
She hit the ground running, contacting Modesto's city and county leaders to develop a plan for what would later be called the Awesome Spot Playground, and started fundraising efforts right away.
So an inclusive playground allows children and adults of all abilities to play together. Children who use wheelchairs or walkers are oftentimes left on the sidelines of typical playgrounds.
While the city says they won't be able to break ground until it is fully funded, this is what it's going to look like.
Where everyone can play. Every time I come here and see all the people, I can know that there's a lot of other kids in wheelchairs like me.
Complete with wide ramps all over, smooth surfaces, accessible swings, and a slide mountain, just to name a few things.
We are on top of Slide Mountain,
hoping to make this dream a reality in Modesto by spring of 2020.
This is awesome.
In Palo Alto, Lena Howland, ABC 10 News.
It's a good boy. Yes.
This is James Cross.
This is the first time in 16 years that I've pet a dog.
He's been incarcerated for 16 years on a 25 to life sentence for conspiracy to commit murder.
That's a treat for you, baby.
Among other things.
Being a violent offender and being in blue, it comes with a major stigmatism. It comes with a lot of shame. And, the dogs having unconditional love, they just love you for who you are at your core and right now.
This is the best thing in the world.
He's one of a small handful of inmates at the California Medical Facility that will help teach these shelter dogs to become service dogs.
All these dogs come from high-kill shelters, and they would probably have been euthanized.
Jeff Maria has been here for more than 40 years now, and this is the first time he's even pet a dog in the last decade.
It was amazing. I just can't hardly put into words how we feel.
Something so simple, the things that we take for granted every day, to bring that inside prison and make it more personable and real, I think is very, very special.
The Paws for Life program is credited with saving not just the animals, but the people too.
I've been a part of this program since the beginning. I'm formerly incarcerated. I had 6 life sentences consecutive to 40 years. I was sentenced to die in the California state prison system, and this program changed my life.
Don Grobman, the now director of programs, got a recall of commitment from Governor Brown for turning his life around behind bars.
Now I go back inside and try to give the men the same opportunity that I have and bring as many of the guys home as possible.
And many got the message on day one.
It really makes redemption tangible. It feels a lot of hope and that I'm still a human being, and being able to love on a dog. I've been waiting for a long time for this to happen.
It felt like a dream, like one of those dreams where you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, all right, everything's good. But I wasn't waking up.
29-year-old Officer Juan Arroyo laced up his shoes and suited up for work 1 year after doctors worried he wouldn't make it through the night.
It was emotional just because at one point I didn't think this day was gonna come.
These are photos he shared with us from that fateful night last January when a suspected drunk driver ran a stop sign and destroyed his patrol car.
How did I make it out?
He spent a week in the ICU, went through multiple surgeries and physical therapy. He even had to learn how to walk again.
It was from a skull fracture to a fractured jaw fractured ribs, broken pelvis, I had a compound fracture on my left arm, and a broken tibia.
But later, he learned how to run again, too, with some help from kids training for the 10K with a Cop program.
Good job.
That's when I first met him, about 9 months into his recovery process.
It motivated me because it forced me to get off my chair when I didn't want to and run with him.
A positive mindset, he says, helped him push through.
I mean, we all go through down times in life. We can't hold it back. You know, we can't let our situation hold us back. And that was my mindset. I was like, I need to get better. I need to get back to work. I want to get back to work. I love what I do. And at the time, I didn't think my chapter was done.
And Officer Arroyo tells us it all comes back to holding that thin blue line. While he was still recovering, Deputy Tony Hinestroza over at the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department was killed in a crash as he was also working to get a suspected drunk driver off the roads. A month later, Arroyo lost his friend, Corporal Ranil Singh of the Newman Police Department, who was shot and killed in the line of duty.
It didn't cross my mind like, hey, I should leave law enforcement, because we owe it up to them to continue holding, like they say, the thin blue line. We can't let those situations kind of scare us and keep us away from doing our job.
He says he's read every letter, every post on social media using the hashtag #ThumbsUpForJuan, and got a lot of support from his identical twin brother Luis, who also works for the same department, to get to this point today.
It just feels nice. It's like the people say, riding a bicycle, you never truly forget how to ride a bicycle. And I mean, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing than police work.
In Modesto, Lena Howland, ABC 10 News.
I want my baby alive. I don't want her body. I want her.
It's been 3 days since Roberto Ortiz took his 5-year-old daughter Matilda to enjoy Knights Ferry Park on one of the first warm weekends of the year.
This is where she was last seen.
He says they were sitting on the rocks and had just rolled up their pants to get their feet wet when Matilda fell.
I don't know why she stood up, but she stood up and she slid in the water and we were sitting down. And I didn't even hesitate. I jumped in after her and I grabbed her, but the current took her from me.
He jumped into the river to save her, but he was no match for the speed of the current, and Matilda was swept away.
I just wish it would have been me instead of my daughter.
The Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department now calling this a recovery effort, as they believe it's highly likely she has been caught on a tree or some kind of debris deep underwater. Still, their Special Vehicle Operations Unit deputies have continued spot checking the river in swift water rescue gear, and the fire department is launching their own set of boats to search for her further downstream.
They have more resources than we do, and this is what they're trained to do, so I just ask everybody just to keep them pressured into doing their job, because from what I'm hearing from everybody is that they're doing the bare minimum, and I need to know that my daughter's going to be found.
Fast and dangerously high river conditions have caused the Sheriff's Department to scale back on their resources on the third day of the search, stirring some frustration in the family.
He's throwing it down into the water, trying to hope maybe he pulls her up.
That's why Matilda's aunt, Esther Jane, tells us they're taking things into their own hands.
I was climbing trees to try to get some of the branches broken off so that the helicopters could get a better view. I got binoculars. People brought me binoculars so I could see better, from up high maybe.
Doing whatever they can think of to find Matilda.
We're gonna find her. I know we're gonna find her. We have to find her. She's gonna come up.
In Knights Ferry, Lena Howland, ABC 10 News.
Definitely a game changer for us in the officer safety realm.
Detective Dave Bright has spent the past year working to learn everything he can about drones.
I think that just being able to have the ability to get a vantage point that we didn't have before is crucial for keeping our guys on the ground safe.
He's now a licensed FAA drone pilot. This is one of their 3 drones. And these drones can go up to 400 feet above the highest point on the ground.
This would be something that we would use in response to something. So if we had somebody who was running, who was barricaded somewhere, who had fled into a field, that the extra eye in the sky would definitely help locating that suspect.
You'll notice one of their drones has 2 different cameras on it, one for daytime and the other is a special camera that can detect heat from objects in the dark.
Often used in like a fire setting where they're looking for hot spots in a building, or in our setting we can use that in an open field where a person who's running, maybe in darkness, is going to be putting off more heat than the surroundings.
The drone can go up and it's able to search in places we aren't.
As this technology is still just taking off, Manteca Police want to increase awareness and be transparent.
Or it's not going to be something that we're just going to randomly go out into the field and just cruise around Manteca looking for whatever we can see. Definitely a directed purpose.
And the upgrades didn't end there. Last month, 29 security cameras were installed across the city, strategically near bus stops and parks. This spring, they'll also be installing a handful of license plate readers across the city.
We're a city of 81,000, and our department has just about 70 to 72 officers, and so we are growing. And as the city grows and our department grows, our technology has to grow to keep up.
In Manteca, Lena Howland, ABC 10 News.